Let me tell you something most people never expect. The very gift that makes you unique can also become the weight that crushes you. If you've ever felt everything too intensely, if you've ever carried emotions that weren't even yours, then you already understand what I'm saying. This is the hidden burden of being an empath. It's beautiful to feel so deeply, to connect so profoundly. But there's also a darker reality behind it, a truth most people don't grasp, and that's what we're about to uncover. Let's step deeper into the soul of the empath. An empath experiences life in high definition. They don't just hear words, they taste their gravity. They don't just see faces, they read what hides behind the smile. It feels like a superpower, and in many ways it is. But imagine existing in a world where every laugh, every sigh, every silent hurt is magnified inside you. Psychologists describe empaths as people with heightened sensitivity to emotional signals. You become a mirror for everyone else's wounds, and slowly you forget which emotions are truly yours and which ones you've absorbed. Science even reveals that many empaths have stronger mirror neurons, those tiny brain cells that help us resonate with others' experiences. This is why empaths can enter a room and instantly sense tension, or why they often know something is wrong before a single word is spoken. It's not magic, it's neurobiology. But here's the shadow side. Those same mirror neurons can drown you in an ocean of feelings you never invited. Think about it. When someone cries, an empath weeps too. When someone is angry, their nervous system ignites like a storm inside your chest. You don't just witness pain, you embody it. And the danger is in constantly carrying the emotional weather of others. You can forget your own climate. Who are you when every day you're wearing someone else's sky? This is the first arc side of being an empath, the erosion of self. Over time, many empaths lose their boundaries. They say yes when they mean no because they can feel the disappointment radiating from the other person. They forgive too quickly because someone else's guilt feels heavier than their own hurt. They stay in unhealthy relationships, jobs, or friendships, not because they don't see the harm, but because they feel the other person's pain so vividly, leaving feels like betrayal. But here's the paradox. While empaths are often praised as healers, listeners, and compassionate souls, the truth is they are some of the most unseen people in the world. Why? Because when you're always the safe harbor for others, people rarely stop to ask what storms you've endured. They see the light you share, but they miss the cost of keeping that light burning. And so, the empath learns to smile while bleeding inside. There's a term in psychology called emotional labor. It describes the invisible work of managing not just your own feelings, but also the feelings of others. Empaths don't just perform emotional labor, they live inside it. And the exhaustion is real. Studies even suggest that chronic emotional overload can lead to higher stress, anxiety, and even physical symptoms like fatigue and insomnia. The body keeps the score, especially when the soul is overloaded. But here's the part that stings the most. The very world that benefits from the empath's sensitivity is often the same world that labels it as weakness. You're too sensitive. Stop overthinking. Why do you care so much? Words like daggers that teach the empath to doubt their gift. They start questioning themselves. Maybe I am too much. Maybe I should feel less. Maybe caring deeply is a flaw, and that's how the empath begins to silence their own voice, not realizing that sensitivity is not fragility, it's clarity. Yet the dark side of the empath is not just about exhaustion or invisibility. It's also about attraction. Because sensitivity doesn't just pull in people who need comfort. It also attracts those who exploit it. Empaths often become magnets for narcissists, manipulators, and energy drainers. Why? Because an empath's boundaries are often softer, and there, compassion becomes a resource for those who seek control. It's an old dance, the giver and the taker, the healer and the exploiter. And unless the empath learns to draw lines in the sand, they risk becoming a reservoir drained by everyone else's thirst. But here's where it gets even more complex. The empath's shadow is not only shaped by others. Sometimes it is self-created. Because when you care so much, you can become addicted to saving people. You confuse love with rescue, compassion with sacrifice, and slowly your worth becomes tied to how much pain you can absorb for others. That's not empathy anymore. That's martyrdom disguised as love. Yet even in this darkness, there is wisdom. Because the struggles of the empath reveal something profound about human connection itself. We are wired to feel with each other, to resonate, to mirror, to care. But there's a balance we must find between empathy and selfhood. Without it, the gift becomes the woo. And the truth is, the world needs empaths. But it doesn't just need them to feel, it needs them to endure. And survival means boundaries. It means learning to distinguish your storm from my storm. It means realizing that sometimes walking away is not cruelty. It's self-respect. It means embracing that you can care without carrying. Love without losing yourself. Because here's the secret. The dark side of the empath is also the doorway to their strength. When an empath learns to stand in their own center, they transform. No longer mirrors that reflect everyone else's pain. They become lanterns that guide others without dimming their own light. And that's when the gift becomes whole again. But we're not done, because this story goes deeper still. What if I told you that the empath's sensitivity isn't just an accident of personality, but an evolutionary design? And what if that design, once essential for survival, is now both a blessing and a burden in the modern world? That's what we'll explore next, the hidden evolutionary roots of empathy, and why the very trait that once kept us alive is now one of the hardest to carry in today's world.